Today, we're going to break down a little bit more of a less glamorous fantasy football video from Dynasty rookie drafts, and that's who should you be stashing at the end of your taxi squad once your rookie draft is over. Assuming you guys are in like 4-round rookie drafts, I'm going to be mainly talking about 8 to 10 players today that are primarily going undrafted that you can stash at the end of your taxi. Guys like PUKA may have been undrafted last year. Guys like Dontavian Wicks, Aiden O'Connell, in years past, guys like Brock Purdy. So there definitely can be some hidden gems found at the end of your bench after the rookie draft is over. So let's get right into it. We're going to talk about the first group of guys here because I wanted to group all these guys together given that they play the same position. All of the other rookie tight ends not named Brock Bowers, Jatavian Sanders, and Ben Sinnott, those guys are mostly going to get drafted in 95% of your leagues. But Theo Johnson, tight end of the New York Giants, Cade Stover, 4th-round pick to the Texans, Jared Wiley, 4th-round pick to the Chiefs, Eric All, 4th-round pick to the Bengals, and Jakeem Bell, 7th-round pick to the Patriots. All of these guys kind of have their individual cases. With Theo Johnson on the Giants, he posted an elite relative athletic score. It's a wide-open tight end room, assuming Darren Waller potentially retires, just him and Daniel Bellinger there, so he's worth a shot. Shout out Windsor, Ontario. He's a Canadian as well. Cade Stover, the Texans have him kind of stuck behind Dalton Schultz in the short term, but it's a great offense, obviously, to be tethered to long term. 8.22 RAS score on Cade Stover. Jared Wiley, I mean, Travis Kelce signed a 2-year extension, so he's probably around for a couple more years. Maybe this is their future tight end one. Who knows? 9.3 relative athletic score for him, so an interesting player. Eric All to the Bengals. He didn't actually test athletically. He wasn't overly productive at Iowa or at Michigan, but he did post 2.62 yards per route run in his final season. 6'5", 250 pounds. All they really have there is Mike Gesicki right now. He could maybe work into a long-term role in the future. Jakeem Bell, 7th rounder, so definitely not great draft capital, but he was my tight end 4 pre-draft, and him going to the Patriots, he could maybe be kind of like what they envisioned Jonnu Smith was going to become for them, so he's an interesting player. But we're going to break down some flex positions here. So I got 7 guys outside of the rookie tight ends that I'm prioritizing in undrafted free agency, and I'm going to go in descending order from 7 to 1. So obviously, if my number 2 guy is available and my number 5 guy is available, then I would prefer getting my number 2 guy. So starting off with number 7, we have Dylan Laube, running back of the Las Vegas Raiders, 6th-round pick in the NFL draft. Pretty straightforward here. I think the reason why I'm interested in Dylan Laube is because he has a potential role right away in this offense. He had an elite receiving skill set coming out of the University of New Hampshire. Zamir White, Alexander Madison, they don't really offer a whole lot in that department, and Laube led this class with a 19% target share at New Hampshire his final season. This offense has 2 quarterbacks, Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell, neither of whom are really like rushing threats, so they could be prone to check the ball down. I wouldn't be shocked if, 5 years from now, we're looking back and Dylan Laube carved out basically like a Theo Riddick, J.D. McKissick caliber of career. So I do think that Dylan Laube is an interesting option here. Rasheen Ali is my number 6, running back now, 5th-round pick to the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens backfield, of course, has the king, has Derrick Henry, and Keaton Mitchell, who's coming off of an ACL tear from last year. But Rasheen Ali could carve out a small, like, Justice Hill type of role early on. He posted 38 targets in 2023, his senior season at Marshall University, and 56 targets his sophomore year at Marshall. In those 2 healthy seasons, he was a valuable part of the receiving game, and he also scored 40 touchdowns through the air and on the ground. Maybe a solid Henry handcuff in the short term. Didn't really get any testing numbers from him, but 5'11", 210 pounds. Solid size profile for Rasheen Ali. Definitely a guy that I find myself picking up a lot of in undrafted free agency. Just a decent speculative ad to throw to the back of your taxi squad. Number 5 on this list is Isaiah Davis, running back now of the New York Jets. He was a 5th-round pick to the Jets. Super disappointing landing spot for Isaiah Davis because I actually had him as a top 8 running back in this class as a prospect. I thought he was a great sleeper prospect. I actually had a higher grade on him pre-draft for a while there than I did on Braylon Allen, who the Jets drafted 1 round ahead of Isaiah Davis. It's tough. It's a tough pull, really, with Isaiah Davis getting the landing spot that he got because you have so much competition there. Not only is there Breece Hall, who's obviously one of the best running backs in the league, but even if Breece Hall were to get injured, you also have Braylon Allen. You also have Izzy Abanikanda, who they drafted in the 5th round last year. To me, with Isaiah Davis, this is kind of just one of those taxi squad stashes where where you're just hoping that he lucks into a workload at some point during his career, and maybe you could flip him for a profit at that point. Nonetheless, though, when players I thought they were super talented, just become free in rookie drafts, you might as well throw them at the end of your taxi squad, regardless of their situation. And unfortunately, like I said, Davis is not in a great situation for what he's going to get opportunity-wise in this class. He posted 2 seasons of over a 90-plus PFF rushing grade at South Dakota State, so he is definitely interesting. And his best season rushing grade of 96.8 is actually a PFF record. So with Isaiah Davis, you're also getting a decent athlete, 8.85 RAS score. Interesting player, just not a great opportunity in front of him with Breece Hall, with Braylon Allen, with Izzy Abanikanda there, but worth a speculative ad nonetheless. Number 4 on this list is Tyrone Tracy, running back now of the New York Giants. He was a 5th-round pick. He's a tweener, right? He played 4 or 5 years at wide receiver at Iowa, transfers over to Purdue to play 1 year of running back. Only really had like 120 career carries under his belt. Older prospect, but outstanding physical tools. Tested very well at the combine. 9.78 RAS score, 5'11", 209 pounds, 20 reps at 225 on the bench, 40-inch vertical, 10.4 broad jump, 4.46 in the 40-yard dash. Also had a really good agility testing scores as well. He was interesting, man. He was a fun watch on film, 4.44 yards after contact per attempt. Actually led this class among all running backs, and he was 9th in PFF rushing grade as well. Devin Singletary is there. He's shown the ability to command a workload, but I think Tyrone Tracy has a lot more physical upside than Devin Singletary, so he's the type of guy I'm very comfortable throwing at the end of my bench. And actually, you don't even really have to throw this guy in your taxi squad because he might have some short-term viability in a Giants offense desperately needing some weapons there. So number 3 on this list, and these 3 guys are really the ones I feel the best about, I would say. Johnny Wilson, 6th-round pick to the Philadelphia Eagles. You could maybe group Aniyah Smith in here as well because he was also a day 3 pick to the Eagles. But Johnny Wilson is the one that was the better prospect in my opinion. Big, physical, freak athlete, 6'6", 230 pounds. Just happens to need some work on his hands. He doesn't have the most natural hands in the world. It's fine. A lot of people think he should move to tight end, but what I would say to those people is that if he was playing just like a big slot type of role, kind of like, yes, Mike Gesicki is a tight end, but kind of that role, maybe turning into like a Darren Waller, I think he would make a whole lot of sense in this Eagles offense. It's a crowded offense. They have A.J. Brown. They have Devontae Smith, but you never know, man. A.J. Brown could move on after 1 year. Johnny Wilson could make that a luxury for them where he develops and then A.J. Brown's expendable. I think he's just a good dart throw to take as a UDFA to stash on your taxi squad because I think the physical upside with Johnny Wilson is that of like, I think his ceiling really is like a Plaxico Burress type of wide receiver in his prime. Number 2 on this list, and one of the guys that I feel really, really good about here is Jacob Cowing, a 4th-round pick to the San Francisco 49ers. I think we can all argue that he doesn't have a whole lot of opportunity in front of him right now because they have Ayuk, they have Debo, they have Kittle, they have Christian McCaffrey. They drafted Ricky Pearsall ahead of Jacob Cowing in the 1st round as well. The ability for Jacob Cowing was on display at University of Texas El Paso, where he played for 3 years, and then Arizona after that for 2 years. He broke out at 18.6 years old, best season target share of 43.1%, which led all wide receivers in this class. Yards per out run in his best season also led all wide receivers in this class of 3.82. This video is taxi squad stashes, right? We don't know what's going to happen in San Francisco. I don't know if Ayuk is going to be there next year. I don't know if Debo is going to be there next year. We got no freaking idea. So for me, Jacob Cowing is the type of guy that you just throw in your taxi squad, and a year from now, you kind of evaluate what he turned into. Maybe he showed flashes. Maybe he was a special teams contributor. Maybe the 49ers had a bunch of injuries at wide receiver, and he was actually able to be fantasy relevant. Maybe he's going to be the Debo replacement because Jacob Cowing is kind of like a Rondale Moore, Wan'Dale Robinson type, and I know he's not the same physical specimen Debo is, but he is versatile in the way that you can use him. And when I pull up his prospect model comparisons in terms of the caliber of prospect he was, Gabriel Davis, James Prochet, Cedric Wilson, a couple guys there that have flashed pretty decent production. So for me with Jacob Cowing, I'm just kind of trusting the profile to some degree because I thought he was a good prospect. I thought his film was pretty good. If he had gone to a better landing spot, I'd be way more in on him, but knowing that he's available undrafted in a lot of cases is something I feel very, very good about. So final guy that I'm going to talk about in this video, my number 1 taxi squad stash. This is the guy that I'm dropping my fab on if he makes it out of the 4th round. of your rookie drafts, and that is Jalen Coker, UDFA wide receiver to the Carolina Panthers. Unfortunately, goes undrafted, but let me explain to you guys why Jalen Coker is the ultimate sleeper. In my opinion, he's the biggest sleeper this year's PUKA Nacua, quote unquote. I don't think he'll become a top 6 dynasty wide receiver, but if there's a guy that comes out of nowhere and produces at a high level, I will put my stamp, put my name on Jalen Coker, because when you look at his production, 15 of his 25 touchdowns at Holy Cross. Small school, I get it, but he dominated that offense. 1,035 of his team's 2,236 total receiving yards. 6'1.5", 208 pounds, jumped 42.5 inches in the vert, 10.8 in the broad. Wicked production profile. Again, it's small school, so you got to keep that in mind. But 4.08 yards per team pass attempt led this class. 35% target share in the games he played in 2023, second best in the class. 3.51 yards per route run in 2023, third best in the class. 90.6 PFF receiving grade, third best in the class this year. The only real detractors for him are small school, likely day 3 draft capital. He actually ended up going undrafted. I tweeted this out before the draft, but he hits the analytical thresholds for pretty much everything I'm looking for. Contested catches, first down rate, PPR points per game, breakout age, receiving yards, market share, years 1 to 3 of his college career. 22 years old the day of the draft. Post breakout age improvement. He started off pretty rough early on in his career and got better every single year. 8.54 RAS score. I could go on with why this guy is a pretty good bet. On film, I saw a plus route runner. Steve Smith Sr. called him one of the better route runners in this class. 96 percentile catch radius, just 2 drops in 2023. He's tough. He beats press coverage. He finds the hole against zone coverage, which Dave Canales, the Panthers head coach, has come out and talked about already. He has explosive breaks and violent hands. He was my wide receiver 13 in the class before the draft actually happened. So the fact that he slipped this far down, to me, is a travesty. I thought he should have gone in like the 4th or the 5th round, in my opinion. He is my guy. He is the dude that I have ended up with the most out of any rookie in this entire rookie class, because in every single draft that finishes, I'm picking this guy up immediately off of undrafted free agency. I'm blowing fab on this dude, because when I pull up his prospect comparisons in the FSC prospect model, only 2 names really showcase to me that he is this type of prospect, and that's Puka Nacua and Amon-Ra St. Brown, who are both day 3 picks who ended up hitting big time and are currently top 6 dynasty wide receivers. Again, don't think he's going to hit to that degree. Even if we just get the next Dontavian Wicks out of this guy, I would consider that a win. And in Carolina, yeah, they have Xavier Legette, who they drafted high. They have Jonathan Mingo, who they drafted high last year. Deontay Johnson, who they traded for. But none of those guys are surefire number 1 guys. And it would not shock me if Jalen Coker had a Dontavian Wicks-like rookie season, where by the end of the year, he's commanding real snaps, commanding real targets, because I do think with a little bit of development and the right coaching, he could be a future number 2 receiver in the NFL who is available as an undrafted free agent. So Jalen Coker, make sure that he is your number 1 priority if he's available in undrafted free agency. One of my dudes in this draft class. Again, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like down below. Subscribe if you're new around here. Check out yesterday's video. We talked about 3rd and 4th round dart throws rather than just like pure undrafted sleeper free agents. We did actually talk about Tyrone Tracy in yesterday's video as well, but I thought I'd mention him here because he is often available in undrafted free agency because he's buried down the board in ADP. So if you guys enjoyed, like I said, like, comment, subscribe. Check out Flock Fantasy for more dynasty and rookie content. But with that being said, peace out, and we'll talk to you soon.